Well, we're going to continue our reading of the Odyssey, Book 1, and we were up to about line 63, I think. And you'll recall that the goddess Athena has been complaining to her father Zeus that the gods had forgotten poor old Odysseus, and she relates how Odysseus is stuck on this island with this daughter of destructive Atlas, and he really longs to go home. We had that beautiful phrase that up here that he desires even to take note of or to spy the smoke rising from his land, and he longs to die. Well, Zeus, of course, is a wily old bugger, and he realizes that he's being slightly reprimanded by Athena, and so he now gives a quite funny rejoinder. So in our line here we have ten bominos proserphe nephele geretta Zeus. So Zeus, the cloud gatherer. This is one of his many epithets. You'll notice that the roots in here we have nephele, the cloud, and you might recognise this geretta root. There is a verb egero, I raise, or it can also mean to gather. It's either egero or perhaps agero here, to gather. So the cloud gatherer Zeus, then replying to her, he said, or he addressed her in reply, Teknon emon, my child. And we get this wonderful expression. It occurs quite a lot throughout Homer. You'll see it in both the Iliad and the Odyssey. Poion se epos fugon herkos daunting. It is example of the part and whole construction. It's you, and the herkos daunting is, a herkos is like a fence or a boundary. It's connected with the verb ergo. So this is the boundary of your teeth. So it's the whole and part construction. You is the set, is the whole, and the boundary of your teeth is the part. So it's a lovely phrase. It's literally, such a word has escaped you, the boundary of your teeth, which is a fancy way of saying what an outrageous thing for you to say. So such a word has escaped your mouth, the boundary of your teeth. So you can translate it as what an outrageous thing to say. Pos an epet Odysseus ego theoia lathoimen. How then, now there's our main verb lathoimen, that's from lanthano, and that's the aorist optative here. So the stem, it's typical of these, the whole family of these sorts of verbs. You get a nasal infix and you have an iterative an ending, and there's the stem left there, the lath. Very similar to verbs like manthano and so on, tumcano, all have this kind of structure. So there's the stem, and lanthanamai is in the middle, as I forget. So how then, with an, optative with an, would I forget godlike Odysseus? This next line is very tricky, and you have to consult the commentaries on this to really get a gist of what it's about. We have peri used twice, one with a men and one with a de, but I'm sorry to tell you the two peris are not the same. The first one is going with the verb. Peri ami is to surpass, and so this is here is a preverb going with esti. So who surpasses mortals, and then an internal accusative in respect to his nous, to respect to his mind. And the second peri is really short for perissos. perissos, which is an adverb meaning excessively or greatly. So in great quantities or some such thing. Abundantly, you could take it as. So who surpasses mortals in his mind, and on the next line, edoke has given abundantly for the for perissos, abundantly. Hera, you're probably used to seeing an epsilon in there, sacred things, so holy sacrifices to the immortal gods. The immortal gods, toi for hoi, who, there's our verb, ekusin, who hold the broad heaven. And so this is all a question. He says, how would I forget Odysseus? So he's slightly upset that she suggests that although Odysseus has given them many sacrifices, we had that earlier in the story, that he somehow has forgotten. He said, how on earth could I forget that? But here's the reason why there's problems. But Poseidon, the guy Eokos, the scholars have argued back and forth about exactly what this means. Some people take it as the earth holder, the earth supporter, taking this ok from echo to hold. But there's more recent views on this, connect this with another verb, connected perhaps with the Latin vexare, in the sense of earth shaker. So you can either take this as earth supporter, earth holder, or perhaps as more correctly as earth shaker. So Poseidon the earth shaker, this askeles we've had before, something like unyielding, is continually, it's an adverb, continually unyieldingly. Kekolotai is a perfect, probably middle. So he is, he's in a state of being very angry, which is why it's in the perfect. So Poseidon, the earth shaker, is continually and unyieldingly angry over, this is a defining genitive, over the Cyclops. Whom, that's the Cyclops. Now the subject of this is Odysseus. This is alpha privative. This is connected with a verb of light. So literally, well, we have that terrible expression in English to knock out someone's lights. Well, this was literally to do that. He took away the light from his eye. That is, he blinded him. And so, whom he took away light from his eye, whom he blinded, and then he explains who this Cyclops was. It was godlike Polyphemus. And then in typical Homeric fashion, we have a little description about, a little digression about this Cyclops, and we're told about how he was born. Thoosa de min teke nymphae, the nymph Thoosa bore him. That's min for auton. That's that accusative, min for auton, very common in Homer. And teke is from tikto, I bear. And this is the aorist form without augment, so strong aorist. So the nymph Thoosa bore him. She was the daughter of Phorcus, who, and in apposition to him in the genitive here, is the one ruling the sea, which is this atrugetoio. The precise etymology of this is not secure. It's traditionally, so says this, which we get it from the Scholiast, means inexhaustible. But more recent scholarship thinks it may be something like unable to dry out. There are various other interpretations of this. So you can just take it as unwearying, which is the standard way of doing that particular word. Unfortunately, we have a lot of these words in Homer, especially these epithets, which are probably very ancient, and we don't really know precisely what the etymology is. And so she bore him, and there's our participle, migesa. This is from mignumi, literally to mingle with, used as a euphemism for having sex with. So she slept with Poseidon in the specie in the hollow caves. Ek2, probably from Ek2 Chrono. So from that time then, the earth shaker, the Eliskone, again the etymology of this one is not precise, but the earth shaker Poseidon, we'll probably take that as earth shaker here, Poseidon. Uti kataktene, the kataktene is possibly connative here. He didn't try in any way to kill Odysseus, but he caused him to wander from his fatherland. But come, let us all here put our minds to it. I don't like this comma here, I'd rather take it with this bit, but if you're with the comma there, let us all put our minds to his return journey, how he will come, and Poseidon will let go of his anger, personal adjective. This is from Meth Hiami. For he will not be able, Antia goes with the Ekati really, against all of the immortals, against the will of the gods, to strive, hoios here, alone. So he will not be able to strive alone, or to contend alone against the will of all the immortal gods. And that finishes up to that line.